Okay, so today we're going to talk about dividing polynomials. We're going to go over two ways to divide. One way is long division, and the other way is called synthetic division. So to get us started, just a few reminders about how to long division and how to long divide. So vocabulary, the dividend over the divisor is equal to the quotient your answer, plus, if there's a remainder, you put the remainder over the divisor, so whatever we're dividing by. So if I look at this is supposed to be 277. I mistyped. So it should be 277 divided by 12. We're just going to do the steps of long divide. So the 12 is what goes on the outside, and then the 277 on the inside. So first, if we look at the 2, well, 12 can't go into 2, so then we look at 27. How many times can 12 go into 27? Twice. So now we multiply 2 times 12 is 24. And then we have to subtract here. So we're going to subtract 24. So 27 minus 24 is 3. Now we have to bring down the 7. So how many times does 12 go into 37? 3 times. So 3 times 12 is 36. So we need to subtract 37 minus 36 gives me a 1. Now we should put decimal places to finish dividing, but we're not, because that's not how we're going to do it when we're doing polynomials. So we have a remainder of 1. We're not even going to write it 1, but how we would write this, 23 plus, so we're going to write it as how we have it up here, the remainder is 1, over what did we divide by? 12. Any questions? Alright, so now we're going to do long division, same process but with polynomials. Reminder, when we are dividing with polynomials, your dividend and divisor should be in standard form. So least to greatest, greatest to least exponent. And if we're missing any exponents, we use 0 as a coefficient for the other missing terms in the divisor or the dividend. So if I look at my first example, x squared plus 3x is 5 divided by x plus 1. So let's see if I need to fill in any missing terms. Highest here is squared, then x, then no x, standard form. X plus 1 is standard form, not missing anything. So since we're dividing by x plus 1, that is what is going to go on the outside. Then your x squared plus 3x plus 5 goes on the inside. Now, you don't have to worry about the plus 1 right now, you're just looking at the x, and we're going to look at this x squared. So we need to see x times what would give me x squared? X. So I'm going to put an x here. Now we're going to multiply x times this entire x plus 1. So x times x is x squared. X times 1 is x. Now, just like we did above, now we have to subtract. I need to subtract this entire thing. So we're going to just change the signs. So it's going to be having negative x squared and a negative x. Now we're going to add. So x squared minus x squared is 0. It cancels out. 3x minus x is 2x. Now, to continue on, we have to bring down the plus 5. Now, you're looking at the x and then the 2x. So, what do we need to multiply x by to get to 2x? 2. So we're going to put a plus 2 up here. Now we're going to multiply 2 times the entire x plus 1. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 1 is 2. Now we need to subtract, so change the signs on everything. So then 2x minus 2x is 0. And then 5 minus 2 is 3. There's nothing else to bring down, so this is my remainder. So if this is my remainder, so we have x plus 2 plus 2 over, what do we divide by? X plus 1. So this is my answer. And sometimes I'll even write it out to the side. Yes, sorry. I know I was getting the 2 from. Yes, 3. 3 over x plus 1. Any questions? All right, let's go to a second example. So is 3x plus 4 factor of 3x cubed minus 11x squared minus 56x minus 48. I know that if we had this question before we introduced long division, we're in synthetic division today, we could try to factor this and see. Instead, we're going to do it using division. So if we divide, if it is a factor, then when we divide at the end, we should not have a remainder. So you would have a remainder of 0 if it would be if it's a factor. So this 3x plus 4 is going to be on the outside. And then inside 3x cubed minus 11x squared minus 56x minus 48. And now we're going to divide. So I'm looking at the 3x and 3x cubed. What do I need to multiply 3x by to get to 3x cubed? X squared. I should have asked before if we were missing any terms to fill in, but we're not. 3, 2, 1, 0. So now I'm going to multiply x squared times 3x plus 4. So 3x times x squared is 3x cubed. X squared times 4 is plus 4x squared. Now we have to subtract, so I have to change the sign, so minus and a minus. So 3x cubed minus 3x cubed cancels out. Negative 11x squared minus 4x squared is a negative 15 x squared. And now we have to bring down the minus 56x. We do it again with a 3x and the negative 15. 3x times what would give me a negative 15x squared?
Negative 5x.
Negative 5x. So now we're going to multiply negative 5x by 3x plus 4. So negative 5x times 3x is a negative 15x squared, and negative 5x times 4 is a negative 20x. Now We have to subtract this off, so we're changing the signs. So this is going to become our plus 15x squared and our plus 20x. So negative 15x squared plus 15x squared is 0. And then negative 56x plus 20x gives me a negative 36x. And now we have to bring down then negative 48. Now again, 3x times what will give me a negative 36x? And negative 12. So now multiply negative 12 times 3x plus 4. Negative 12 times 3x is a negative 36x. And negative 12 times 4 is a negative 48. So subtract all of that. So this changes to a plus 36x plus 48. Well, negative 36x plus 36x is 0. Negative 48 plus 48 is 0. So I have a remainder of 0. So the question is 3x plus 4 a factor of 3x cubed minus 11x squared minus 56x minus 48? Since the remainder is 0, we're going to say yes. I know it doesn't ask for a reason, but I'm going to write one yes. It is a factor. Since there is no remainder. Any questions? Alright, let's flip. Third example, 3x to the fourth minus 5x cubed plus 4x minus 6 divided by x squared minus 3x plus 5. So the x squared minus 3x plus 5, it is in standard form. We're not missing any terms. Now for the 3x to the fourth minus 5x cubed plus 4x minus 6, it is in standard form. So we have 3x to the fourth. Then we have the minus 5x cubed. Then here it goes straight to 4x. So we are missing the square term. So I'm going to add it as a third plus a 0x squared. And then we have a plus 4x minus 6. The reason we do that, it's like a placeholder. Alright, so now we're going to long divide. Look at the x squared and the 3x to the fourth. X squared times what would give me 3x to the fourth? 3x squared. So 3x squared. Now I'm going to multiply 3x squared times x squared minus 3x plus 5. So 3x squared times x squared is 3x to the fourth. 3x squared times a negative 3x is going to give me a negative 9x cubed. And 3x squared times 5 is a plus 15x squared. Now I need to subtract all of that, so we're going to change the sign, so minus, plus, and a minus. 3x to the fourth minus 3x to the fourth cancels out. Then we have a negative 5x cubed plus 9x cubed. This will give me a 4x cubed. And then 0x squared and a negative 15x squared is minus 15x squared. And now it's time to bring down. We've got to bring down the 4x. Now we're going to get the x squared with the 4x cubed. What do I need to multiply x squared by to get to 4x cubed? 4x, so plus 4x. Now I'm going to multiply 4x by x squared minus 3x plus 5. 4x times x squared is 4x cubed. 4x times a negative 3x is a minus 12x squared. 4x times 5 is a plus 20x. So I need to subtract all that, so we're going to change the signs. So negative 4x cubed plus 12x squared, and then a minus 20x. 4x cubed minus 4x cubed cancels out. Negative 15x squared plus 12x squared gives me a negative 3x squared. 4x minus 20x is a minus 16x. And we still have the minus 6 that we can bring down. Alright, now we're going to do it again. X squared to negative 3x squared. What do I need to multiply x squared by to get to a negative 3x squared?
Negative 3.
Negative 3, so minus 3. So now we're going to multiply. Negative 3 times x squared is a negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times 3x is a positive 9x. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. We're going to subtract all that, so change the signs. So positive, negative to a positive. Now add negative 3x squared plus 3x squared is 0. Negative 16x plus a negative 9x is a negative 25x. And negative 6 plus 15 is 9. There is nothing else to bring down, so this is my remainder. So the way we're going to write that, we'll put a plus, and then a negative 25x plus 9 over x squared minus 3x plus 5. I usually almost always put a plus here. I always put a plus here if there's a binomial, because if I try to take out a negative, we really need to factor out a negative over this whole thing. So just be careful about that. So this is your final answer. Alright, moving on now to synthetic division. Long division will always work no matter what the divisor is. Synthetic division, though, only can be used when the divisor is in the form of 1x plus or minus a. You can still do it if this is not a 1, but it's just exponent for the x is 1. Alright, so we have our steps. I'm going to push those steps up because you have them on your paper to use this. So the first step, equation should always be in standard form. So always be in standard form. If we need to fill in missing coefficients, missing terms, we will need to do that as well. So it says set the factor divisor equal to 0. So that's what we're dividing by. So here I'm dividing by x minus 2. So we're going to set that equal to 0. So x minus 2 is equal to 0. That would make x equal to 2. Alright, so to set up synthetic division, it's kind of like upside down or like a backwards division. This 2, we're going to put that's going to go on the outside. Then, like I said, it's not a division sign, but kind of like upside down division. And then it says set up division with coefficients only. Use 0 for coefficients and missing terms. So I don't need to write anything with the coefficients. So x cubed squared 1 and constant. We're not missing any terms. We're just going to write the coefficient. So coefficient of x cubed is 1. 5x squared is 5. And then negative 7 and 2. Alright, second step, bring the first coefficient below the line. So we're going to bring down this line and put it here. For this example only, I'm going to be drawing like arrows, just so if you go back you can see where did this stuff come from. Alright, so step 3, multiply the divisor. Multiply by divisor and put answers above line in next blank. So what that means, we're going to take this 2. We're going to multiply by 1, and we're going to put that answer up here. So 2 times 1 is 2. Now, step 4 says add down. We're going to add these two together. 5 plus 2 is 7. Now we're going to repeat that process till we get to the very end. So now I'm going to do it again. 2 times 7 is 14. So that answer goes up here. Now we're going to add down. Negative 7 plus 14 is 7. We'll have to do it again. So 2 times 7 is 14. Add down. 2 plus 14 is 16. This last box here, this box is always your remainder. This down here is your coefficients of your answer, and then the remainder. If you think about this, so we divided by x. So x cubed divided by x is going to give me 9x squared. So this is the coefficient for x squared. So this is going to be x squared plus 7x plus 7 with a remainder of 16. So plus 16 over what did we divide by? That factor, which is x minus 2. Any questions? This is, I know it may not look like it, it's very similar to long division. It's just looks clearer, a lot less steps. I have it written out side by side to show you, but I'll only show you later if you want to see how it directly correlates. Alright, next one. Use synthetic division to find the quotient given the factor. So same exact thing. So 3x to the 5th minus 8x cubed plus 2x squared minus x plus 1, and then x plus 2. So we first have to set this equal to 0. So x is going to be negative 2. So that's what's going to go on the outside. Alright, now highest x ordered is 5th. So 3x to the 5th has a coefficient of 3. Then we go from 5, x1 to 5 to x1 to 3. So we are missing the 4th. So plus 0x to the 4th. So that coefficient then would be 0. And now the cube is negative 8. So minus 8. the square is 2, negative x is negative 1, and then 1. Right now, first step, bring down that 3. So now we're just multiplying and adding down. So negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6. And then add down. 0 minus 6 is a negative 6. Multiply. Negative 2 times negative 6 is a positive 12. Add down. Negative 8 plus 12 is 4. Again, multiply. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Then add down. 2 minus 8 is a negative 6. Multiply again. Negative 2 times 6 is 12. Add down. Negative 1 plus 12 is 11. Multiply again. Negative 2 times 11 is negative 22. Add down. Negative 21. We're done. Remember, this last box, that is your remainder. So now we're going to write the answer. Your answer, the exponent that we start with, is always 1 less than what we started with. So if we had x to the 5th, my first coefficient is going to be x to the 4th then. So we have 3x to the 4th minus 6x cubed plus 4x squared minus 6x plus 11 and then plus a negative 21 over x plus 2. For this one you could have it here as a minus 21 or minus 21 over x plus 2. That would work for this one. Any questions? All right. Next example for synthetic division. We're going to use synthetic division to write the polynomial in factored form when given a solution. Then use the factored form to find the remaining zeros. So we have x cubed minus 10x squared plus 19x plus 30. We know that 6 is a 0. We want to write the polynomial in completely factored form. I am well aware that if I asked you to factor this, even without this, because it's 4 times, we could factor by grouping and then factor it all out that way. It's asking us to use synthetic division. The reason why, building blocks for next class, because I think it's next class or the class after, you're going to have to factor completely something like this, like with the 5th. And so we would be using synthetic division. Alright, so 6 is a 0. So 6 is what's going to go on the outside. So 3, 2, 1 for my exponents, so we don't have to fill in any missing terms. So coefficient would be a 1, and then negative 10, 19, and 30. Now we're going to divide, bring down the 1, multiply and add, so 6 times 1 is 6. Add down, negative 10 plus 6 is negative 4. Multiply again, 6 times negative 4 is a negative 24. Add down, 19 minus 24 is a negative 5. Multiply again, 6 times negative 5 is a negative 30. Add down and we get 0. So your remainder here is 0. It should be because it's telling us that 6 is a 0. It's like the question, second question that we did on the front. Example 2, where we asked if it was a factor, and if it was a factor related to 0, same thing here, just looks different. So your remainder is 0. So this cubed, so we start with cubed, this would be x squared minus 4x minus 5. So we want to write the polynomial in factored form. So we have f of x is equal to, if 6 is a 0, how would that look as a factor? X minus 6. And then we have this is another factor, x squared minus 4x minus 5. Now, we have to see, can we factor this? It can be factored. So we have x minus 6. So x squared minus 4x was 5. X and x. Well, factors of 5. The only factors are 1 and 5. We need to add to 4. So if I have 1 and 5 to add to a negative 4, it has to be x plus 1, x minus 5. It is okay if your factors are in different order as long as you have your factors. So that's my polynomial in factored form, this polynomial here. My remaining zeros, so if 6 is a 0, what are my other zeros? Negative 1 and 5. Oops, I wrote this. Positive 5 and negative 1. So 5 and 1 are zeros. Alright, last one. Real synthetic division, we're going to do the same thing, write it in factored form, find the remaining zeros. So we have x cubed minus 5x squared minus 12x plus 36. It is in standard form, it's not missing any terms. This time, it says 2 and negative 3 are solutions. So I'm giving you two of the solutions. You can start with either one. I'm going to start with 2. So just like we did above, synthetically divide. My coefficients are going to be 1, negative 5, negative 12 and 36. Now we're going to bring down the 1. I'm going to let you do that. I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to talk you through it, and then you can check to make sure that you synthetically divide it correctly. So you'll show that in a 1, negative 3, and negative 18. So once I factored out, if it's 2, that would be the factor of x minus 2. We would be left with x squared minus 3x minus 18. I also know that negative 3 is a solution. So you don't have to rewrite anything. I can use this same answer, and I can synthetically divide that by negative 3. So bring down the 1. I'll let you synthetically divide again. we should have gotten a 1 and a negative 6. So this 1 would be the coefficient of x, so this is x minus 6. I can't synthetically divide anymore, factor out, because that's just x minus 6. So my factored form, so if 2 is a solution, we have a factor of x minus 2. If negative 3 is a solution, we have a factor of x plus 3. And then my last one here, solution of x minus 6. Sorry, a factor of x minus 6. So I'm missing one solution. What would be my last solution? That would be 6.